coming to the most exciting part, which is the rapid fire question.
So you should have given me an answer sheet as well.
Who has been your biggest cheerleader in your life?
Clearly my father. I mean, he's the one I always look up to.
What has been your happiest moment in your life? What is that one quote that you live by?
Accept, adjust and appreciate.
Hello and welcome once again to Curious Baatein. This specific episode I'm so excited about because with us we have Mr. Suresh Mutha. Thank you so much for coming on this show with us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Today, this show is going to be a little different. We are going to make it a masterclass for all you business owners and professionals listening. This episode is specifically going to give you tangible insights and steps of how you can scale up your business and achieve heights both professionally, in your business, in your profession, and socially. Suresh Mutha has specifically in his journey achieved amazing heights, be it with Exports, which is one of India's biggest export network, and in the social level as the president of the Jain International Trade Organization, and he's done amazing work in the last 1 year, and now we have another 8 to 10 months left for us. So I want to ask you personally, what in your journey of achieving heights in both your professional and social life, what are the 3 or 4 skills that you've really imbibed in your life and in your journey that has helped you achieve these heights?
Thank you, Priyank. First of all, it's been a pleasure meeting you. And I'm looking forward to a very meaningful and a useful conversation. So you're asking me about my learnings in my life, in my business life and my social life. There are many things, but out of those many things that I have in my mind, I would specifically like to talk about 3 things. If you want to grow and scale up your business, then these 3 things is what I would like to leave you behind. The first is professionalism. By bringing in professionalism, you migrate from managing your business to managing the people who are managing your business. Second is build a culture, not a cult, right? So by doing so, you get into a more collaborative atmosphere in your workplace, be it your workplace, be it your social organization, and you're able to take everybody along, make everybody owners, make everybody accountable, and make everybody, get that sense of pride. And the third thing that I would like to talk today is ethics. We are all born as Jains. Ethics runs in our blood, but I think we have to be very mindful of this. Ethics in business and ethics in social organization is, according to me, one of the most important factors, and it's mantra to build that long-lasting, everlasting trust in all the stakeholders, be it your suppliers, be it your customers, be it your employees, be it government organizations. So that trust is going to, ensure that there's no impediments in your growth.
Wow. In just one answer, you've actually given us the complete takeaway of the whole podcast. But I want to get in deeply into all of these 3 specific points. Firstly, you mentioned professionalism. And very clearly you said that it goes from managing the business to managing the people who manage the business. However, this one phrase, it's very difficult for most business owners or professionals to have in their own business because everyone likes control over everything that is happening. So, how do you go from a mindset of control to a mindset of building professionalism, building systems in a business, like a simple step-by-step process to do that?
Priyank, I would like to say this, that predominantly our Jain community, right, we are promoter-driven, community. Promoter-driven. So every business is run and managed by the promoters. Now while this is great to scale up from wherever you have started to a certain level, but that is not enough to take and scale up your business from that level to the next level and take it to another height. So I think we need to bring in professionalism. When I say professionalism, what it means is that if you are able to create let's say, a completely professional business organization structure with very clearly defined roles and responsibilities of each one of them, and bringing in clarity of the process flow, those standard operating procedures, and implement that. I will tell you, your growth can, exponentially grow. The parameters which were responsible for the growth from where you started to where you have reached today are completely different than the parameters that are required from here onwards. And professionalism is the only way out. Most of the businesses which have scaled multifolds have brought in this professionalism culture in their organization. Therefore, they have been able to manage.
Any such example from your experience, for example, because when you started out, there definitely would have been a certain culture, and then moving forward to scale it up to where Exports is right now as a complete umbrella structure, as you mentioned. So, like, what were the things that you had taken care in your journey, and what systems had you brought? Like, I heard 3 points. Firstly, having specific roles and responsibilities. Secondly, creating that value system, and at the same time creating the SOPs and systems, and thirdly, implementing that. So in your journey, if you can share some example from.
A very good question, Priyank. Uh, my memory takes me back to 2005 when this group, Exports, was just a partnership firm. And we were, growing slowly and steadily, which is when I stumbled upon one talk show.
Something like this.
Well, it was not like that. I mean, it is a Madras Management Association talk show where they had invited, a family-run business specialist, and he was talking about how you can actually structure your family, and differentiate between ownership and management, and it intrigued me. And after the talk show was over, I went and had a very open chat with him. How can I actually implement the learnings? I mean, I was like floored during that talk show. And I thought, wow, is that possible? When I spoke to him, I said, yes, it is possible. And then the next day he came down to my office and he gave us suggestions and we hired him. Believe me, Priyank, when I say this, that he spent, just to find out where we are and do that analysis of how he can bring in professionalism in our family business. He just met, we were three brothers back then in 2005 who were into business. He spent one day with my brother, one day with me, and one day with my eldest brother, understanding what each one of us are doing. Who do we report to? What are the decisions that I take and he takes and my brother takes? And it came out that nearly 75 to 80% of what we were all doing was duplication.
Was duplication.
Yes.
Similar things are happening.
Yeah, I was exactly doing what my brother was doing. My brother was exactly doing what my eldest brother was doing. So we were like duplicating. I mean, one job which could have been perhaps done by one person, there were three people doing the same job. So, the productivity was not there, though the efforts were there. And he said, look, he met all the three brothers and he said, look, even if you remove the two of you out, with just one person being there, you're going to continue to grow the way you're growing. So that means you are wasting, the resource of two people. So that's why I thought, well, I need to bring this in. And we brought them in. And it was about a 9 months exercise. So, that resulted in that partnership firm, Exports, to this business conglomerate of various verticals and a business house today. And each vertical is growing, as fast as what we were growing as a group.
Clearly, what you said, that firstly you first found a talk show, you first found and seek knowledge that can help you in your business. I hope this talk show becomes one for the listeners. Secondly,
I wish so.
Secondly, you then hired or spoke with an expert who can help you and in that certain area. The biggest part here is that acceptance of having someone as a professional come in, consult you in a specific area of your business that you want growth in. So when you certainly saw that problem and took that action is what you got you results. And finally, a 9-month aggressive program to completely transform your business. You're crediting the whole growth to that 9 months or 12 months journey.
Absolutely. I think that was one of the major factors in the transformation journey of Mohan Mutha Group.
Okay, from your 12-month journey, what are the key takeaways that someone can apply in their business?
Well, I think that's one thing which is missing in our Jain community entrepreneurs. I think we normally confine ourselves to that comfort zone of what we are doing, and we think, that is it, that is my world. Look beyond, and when you look beyond, there is an ocean of opportunities. And for us to be able to capitalize on those opportunities and grow our business to those levels, professionalism, bringing all that I've just said, I think it's key. It's really
Amazing,
good.
amazing. So, from your points on professionalism, I heard that having key roles and responsibilities of each of the member of the family business or all the employees being defined, probably having a system to like even monitor that and ensure that it's being implemented on a consistent basis for growth and for scale. Amazing point. Thank you so much for sharing that. The next point that you mentioned is, I clearly remember it because it's so bold, which is build a culture, not a cult. What do you mean by culture? Culture का मतलब क्या है and वो क्यों जरूरी है अपने जैन community के लिए?
देखो ये I think it is one of the most needed learning for everybody in our Jain community, because अपना सारा primarily is a joint family business. Generally अभी तक बहुत सारी communities के अंदर न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज का कॉन्सेप्ट आ गया, अपने में धीरे आ रहा है, लेकिन फिर भी प्रीडोमिनेंटली अभी अपने जॉइंट फैमिली सिस्टम्स में है. और उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट से ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. What is cult? Cult is a one-man show. एक आदमी जो सोचता है वो सही है, उसके लिए वो पूरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए सही होता है. And what is culture, on the other hand? Culture is a migration from an authoritarian atmosphere to a more collective atmosphere, collaborative atmosphere, democratic atmosphere. Because I believe that if in a family, if there are 4 or 5 people, each one of us have a potential to grow as much as the organization is growing. So just imagine, if you are able to bring this collaborative culture where you discuss, deliberate, debate, and then decide, make everybody inclusive, make everybody feel that sense of ownership, make everybody accountable, make everybody responsible. Just imagine कि आपका बिजनेस कहाँ पे ग्रोथ हो सकता है, मतलब कहाँ जा सकता है. और ये एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है जो मिसिंग है, और पर्टिकुलरली अपने जैन कम्युनिटी के अंदर. सो अपन को कल्चर पे, ये खाली बिजनेस के अंदर रेस्ट्रिक्टेड नहीं है, अपने इवन सोशल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के अंदर अपन ज़्यादातर देखते हैं कि एक आदमी जो एट द हेल्म ऑफ अफेयर्स होता है वो ड्राइव करता है सब कुछ. आई मीन ही थिंक्स इज राइट, इट्स गॉस्पेल ट्रूथ फॉर एवरीबॉडी. दैट्स नॉट हाउ you grow. You need to bring a culture, and that should percolate from the top till the bottom, including your employees, your second level of management, your third level of management. Then you would see how growth happens.
Because everyone is thinking that okay, even my point is valued here. Even I have ownership of what I'm doing, and everything that I do is also valuable, which is something that a lot of young people, when they join a business, they might not feel, because maybe उनके पापा या जो भी head कर रहे हैं, they are probably having a certain mindset कि उसमें ही अपने को चलना है, वही मैं 20 साल से business कर रहा हूँ, you've come now, how will you understand? Or you've just come 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So that barrier is something that a culture can break. And culture is a very, again, it's like an atmosphere. It's very, how do you build an atmosphere? वो आप atmosphere, is it the leadership that builds it? Is it everyone in that organization? Because I've seen a lot of times, जब लीडर की एनर्जी होती है तब पूरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एनर्जी होती है. अगर लीडर सपोज कहीं गलती, मतलब सब पीपल आर नॉट एबल टू कनेक्ट विद द लीडर, देयर इज नथिंग दैट्स हैपनिंग. सो व्हाट्स अ लीडर्स रोल इन बिल्डिंग अ कल्चर एंड हाउ कैन ही बिल्ड वन?
I think a very, very good question. I think it has to percolate from the top. The change, this is a change. This is a change, and the change has to happen at the top. Only then it can percolate in the right way, downwards. So, thoda sa, ये difficult task है, but it is not impossible. I have experienced that in my life, not only in my family business, but also in a social organization that I'm working with, various. And I will tell you the productivity by creating this kind of a culture. I've experienced myself multifold growth. Every one of the people who are associated with you are working with that enthusiasm, that energy, that zeal, and the results are just mind-boggling. So, of course, many a times you probably might need to bring in an external consultant to do this for us, because वो ये एक change है. तो change leaders जो होते हैं, coaching होते हैं, trainers होते हैं, उनको ला करके उनके assistance से भी किया जा सकता है, अगर आपके organization के अंदर कहीं थोड़ी सी resistance है, because you are dealing with people from different generations, right? People from a generation who are pretty much self-made. They've done everything themselves, and people who the young and budding youngsters who are coming and joining the family business, they have come with a very completely different mindset. Now, how do you integrate that? How do you make that as a culture? I mean, just imagine if the top person, says, okay, this is how I have grown and this is how you're supposed to be doing. It'll like completely disillusion that youngster. I mean, that creativity uska khatam ho jayega, wo dab jayega. Usko dabana nahi hai, kyunki unke andar jo potential hai, that can take the organization to great heights.
While you're just saying this, I just got an example. Ki it's more like you should just be like a farmer. आपको सीड्स उगाने हैं और आपको एक एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट करना है. अ फार्मर्स जॉब इज नॉट टू सी एवरी प्लांट एंड मेक श्योर कैसे वो ग्रो हो रहा है. आई रिमेंबर कि हमारे गांव में मेरे चाचा ने एक प्लांट उगाया था, ठीक है, एंड उनको ऑब्वियसली वो पूरा एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट कर रहे, हर रोज पानी दे रहे, बट एट द सेम टाइम उन्होंने उसको एक जितना एक छोटे हाइट तक पहुंचने के बाद एक लकड़ी से बांध दिया ताकि उसका ग्रोथ उसी डायरेक्शन में हो. So as a leader, you build a culture and you mentor your people in a way to just give them direction, not tell ki exactly what you need to do, how you need to do, and build that environment. Am I right in this example?
Great analogy. I think you have a potential of being a coach, I would say. ये बहुत सही analogy दी है तुमने. I think this is how it is, and this is how we'll have to create, culture in any organization, whether it is your business organization, whether it's a social organization that you're working. Culture is a key. We need to build cultures instead of letting the cult drive the growth will be there, but not to the potential of that.
People won't be working from their heart.
Absolutely.
It will be like imposed.
Happiness नहीं रहेगा. वो जो joy होती है ना काम करने की, वो missing हो जाती है कई बार. क्योंकि बहुत youngsters को ना अंदर से उनको एक satisfaction मिलता है कि यार मैंने किया है. That satisfaction is the one which drives him, to really work even more harder and take that organization even higher.
Amazing. And especially one more thing, ki the technologies that are coming in right now, the young people that have they've been brought up with such technologies. For example, I've been brought up with social media. That's why you see all this happening, because I've seen this side of the world. अगर मैं यही काफी लोगों को बोलूँगा, बहुत लोग नहीं समझ पाएंगे. At the same time, beat with AI, ML, वो सब जो भी चीजें आ रही है, I think the young people have if you give them the right space and give them mentoring की तेको सीखना है और वो सीखने बैठ जाता है, he can definitely bring drastic change to any business.
I agree. I think every youngster who come in, teaches us a lot. I believe that many a times what we mistake is that these are youngsters. They need to be guided. Of course, they need to be guided, but they also need freedom of working. They have their own perspective. They have their own thought processes, which they have learned, while they were educating, while they were, in their lives. And I think that needs to come in, because technology, as you rightly said, is changing so fast. It's evolving by the day. And those are the youngsters who are the responsible ones who actually bring in that learning into this working culture, right? And the elders can bring in the experience, but the learnings and the newer things, the innovation, the out-of-box thinking is all coming from the youngsters. And if you don't bring this as a culture, how do you integrate these two?
And I'm seeing a lot of my friends also going through that. But I understand your point. Thank you so much for sharing this really important point, that all of us listening, and even me, really created an impact. Thank you for that. My next question is ethics जो आप बता रहे हैं और आपने ये भी बताया कि as a young Jain boy और as a businessman इस family में मेरे को बचपन से सिखाए जा रहे हैं ethics, you know, and बचपन से we've been molded into what we are today. However, in business and social organization, you mentioned कि you have to be mindful of it. What are some instances जहाँ पर some examples अगर आप बता सकते हो कि क्यों ये important है and वो आपको आपके लाइफ में क्या results दिया है आपको?
देखो एथिक्स जो है ना वो अपन जैनों के अंदर ब्लड के अंदर दौड़ता है, अपने रगों में दौड़ता है, क्योंकि वी बिलोंग टू अ रिलीजन विच इज ऑल बेस्ड ऑन एथिक्स, राइट? बट कहीं ना कहीं ये जो प्रेशर है, प्रेशर ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस, प्रेशर ऑफ ग्रोइंग, allures us to go deviate a little bit from ethics. But I think we should be mindful of that because ethics एक बहुत ही powerful tool है. अपने बिजनेस के अंदर भी हो, अपने निजी जिंदगी के अंदर हो, अपने सोशल लाइफ के अंदर हो, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट. बिकॉज एथिक्स इज व्हाट एक्चुअली बिल्ड्स everlasting trust with all your stakeholders, be it in your business, your customers, your suppliers, your employees, the government department, and in your personal life, your family members. So अगर एथिक्स से डिविएट हो जाएंगे, कहीं ना कहीं कोई बेवकूफ नहीं है, सबको पता है कि आप क्या बोल रहे हो और आपका झूठ छिपेगा नहीं. एक दिन झूठ बोल दोगे लेकिन किसी को, हर एक को समझ में आ जाएगा. जब उस दिन समझ में आ जाएगा, आपका जो इंप्रेशन है उस आदमी के दिमाग के अंदर वो खत्म हो जाएगा. So it takes years and years to build that reputation, and it takes a few seconds to demolish that. So business के अंदर ethics and consistently following that is very, very important. I can share some example with you.
Okay.
Right? In our Maldives business, okay, we supply a whole lot of construction materials. So there was one customer of us to whom we had supplied these stainless steel bars and rods. वो कंस्ट्रक्शन में काम आता है. तो उसको हमने 50 टन सप्लाई किया था. वो कुछ मटेरियल होगा कुछ 75 lakhs का. उसको सप्लाई किया, माल गया वहाँ पे और वहाँ से कंप्लेन ईमेल आ गया कि ये माल रस्ट हो गया है. So my brother and we all got together and we decided what to do. His complaint, 75 lakhs is not a small amount, and back then for us. But believe me, we just took one decision. We are going to replace this entire 50 tons with a new material and we'll take that back. Okay. Right? So this is ethics. I could have debated. I said, oh, once it is there, I mean, this rust must have happened in your yard or whatever. But we didn't do that. We supplied him, replaced that, we brought them. It costed us money. But I will tell you, the trust that we were able to establish in that person, in that business, was responsible for at least getting twice the business that he was earlier giving us. Okay. So I could have easily let go and lost that customer forever, to making him happy. Yes. And him becoming our brand ambassador. He was not only giving us more business, but he was also referring us to somebody else. So just imagine. Yes. Another example. We are also into real estate development. In one project here in Chennai, there was a flat which we had sold to a particular customer. And there was some problem with the flooring and that guy complained. And it was quite some time that we had supplied, and he complained. Immediately we went there and we listened to him and we saw it was genuine. We could have, just backed out, but instead we replaced the complete tiles. And believe me, he was so happy that he referred at least about 4 to 5 new customers, and we sold 5 more flats without spending a money on our marketing. That is the power of ethics.
Instant. And definitely, I think during those times is when that trust is built. During those times is when you build that impact. And however, in short term, it might not show the result. As you said, short term, that is what stops most people.
These are the learnings. This is not short term. This is, as I said, long term, everlasting trust. Everlasting. Even with the government department. Government department is watching you, right? Your ethics, or whether you're unethical, they have all the records. They have all the intelligence. And if your ethics, believe me, I have seen there are many businesses which have grown and absolutely no surveys, no checks, no raids. Because that is the credibility that they've established even in the government departments. So it plays a very important role.
Amazing. What amazing examples, real life examples that we just found. And at the same time, those things really bring you long term. Again, ethics, I want to share a small story that I went through. I told you that recently when I visited our Gurudev, and I personally, I take time, I sit down with him for like 20, 30 minutes and I ask him questions. I asked him, what is the most important thing that I need to have in my life so that I can have a successful life? He mentioned you need to have प्रामाणिकता. हिंदी में उन्होंने बताया प्रामाणिकता होनी चाहिए आपकी लाइफ में, which is nothing but ethics. कि आप हर जगह कैसे अपना सच, अपने निष्ठा के साथ आप अपने काम करो और प्रामाणिकता के साथ काम करोगे तो आप बहुत लंबा जाओगे एंड लॉन्ग टर्म में आपको वही रिजल्ट देगा, भले शॉर्ट टर्म में रिजल्ट नहीं आए. एंड व्हेन यू सेड दिस आई थिंक आई इंस्टेंटली कनेक्टेड विद दैट.
प्रियंक, आई थिंक ये जो अपने जो गुरु है ना, धर्म गुरु, वे आर नथिंग लेस देन प्रोफेसर्स ऑफ हार्वर्ड्स. अपने जैनिज्म के अंदर ये जितने भी चीजें मैंने बोली है ना, वो अपने जैनिज्म के अंदर है, पर अपन सुनते नहीं है ना. ये सब है.
वही तो बात है. एंड बिकॉज वो वैल्यूज, वो लोग जैसे रहते हैं वो उन वैल्यूज में ही रहते हैं. एंड जब हमसे शेयर करते हैं अपने को, पर्सनल लाइफ, प्रोफेशनल लाइफ, सोशल लाइफ, हर जगह वो चीज़ हेल्प करती है. सो अमेजिंग. बिफोर आई मूव ऑन टू द क्विक फायर राउंड, विच इज समथिंग आई एम रियली एक्साइटेड अबाउट, do you have any final advice or final words for the audience listening to this talk show?
I would say work hard. No replacement for hard work at all. While you can do all that I've said, but the bottom line is working hard. You know, you can bring professionalism, you can bring people in place, you can everything, but if you don't work hard, nothing is going to happen. So you still have to work hard. Innovate and think out of the box. I think these are the two things that I would leave you behind with. Because, you know, with this ever evolving world, the fast paced changing world, we need to be in sync with time. And if we are not in sync with times, we will be left behind. So we need to innovate. We have to be open to learning and therefore earning. And the last part is going to be the returning aspect, which is also satisfying. So continue to earn, continue to learn, and continue to return.
Amazing. Learn, earn, and return. What an amazing statement to live by. In fact, I'll be honest, this whole thing that I'm doing over here, the biggest reason is the learnings. You know, having that experience and learning directly from you is something that I wouldn't otherwise get. And this experience, nothing can replace that. No amount of money, nothing can replace this learning that I'm having, sitting right here. And again, sharing it with everyone listening. And I intend to do that consistently moving forward. So coming to the most exciting part of this whole conversation, something that everyone's waiting for, which is the rapid fire question. My first question to you, I'll just take this and I'll just, ask you from this. Okay. My first question for you.
So you should have given me an answer sheet as well.
that is something that we can't have. So the first question is, who has been your biggest cheerleader in your life?
Clearly my father. I mean, he's the one I always look up to. Because I've grown watching him, the way he worked, the hard work that I saw out of him, the proactiveness, the activeness was like just inspiring. So
any specific story that you remember of him?
So my father was a leader in my village, right? जो अपने में पट्टी का सिस्टम था पहले, बहुत सारे गांव को मिलकर के एक पट्टी होते थे. So he was a spokesperson of our village. So उस टाइम के अंदर गवर्नेंस जो था उस पट्टी का, वो पट्टी वाले डिफाइन करते थे कि शादियां कैसे होनी है, फंक्शंस कैसे होते हैं, इवेंट्स कैसे होने हैं, वो सारा डिसीजंस होते थे. So I had attended one of those meetings and I was just watching him, speak. There were about 500 people. There was pin drop silence, and he was speaking like everybody were, attentive to what he was speaking, and every word that he was uttering was making so much sense. And as a youngster, I was watching him and I was just getting inspired. So, this is where I want to be one day. So he's clearly my cheerleader.
And I certainly think you've made him proud. of where you are today. So my next question to you is, what is your favorite holiday destination? I see on your Instagram you travel a lot. You have a lot of pictures on Instagram of your travel. So what is your favorite holiday spot?
So, Priyank, I've been fortunate enough, lucky enough, God has been kind. So, I have been globetrotting. I've traveled across the world, all the possible destinations that you can actually think of. But you've asked me which is my favorite. And I will tell you, you'll be surprised. My favorite holiday destination is Rajasthan.
Are you serious?
I mean, the kind of connect that you get when you go there. I mean, it's so rich in culture, in history, in everything. And it's so diverse there in Rajasthan. I think it excites me. I mean, no matter how many times I go there, it doesn't bore me out. I mean, I'm feeling that much more excited every time that I go there. So it's clearly.
Are you specifically talking about the complete Rajasthan or your village or anything like that?
No, complete Rajasthan.
Complete Rajasthan.
You Jaisalmer, you go to Udaipur, you go to Jaipur, you go to Jodhpur, you go to Bikaner, you go to Pushkar. There's so many of these places here. I mean, recently I was there in Ranakpur. I will tell you, I mean, I was just falling in love with that place. I mean, it's so rich.
Amazing. And we recently went for a trip to Jaisalmer and everything. It's beautiful. I agree with you on that. My next question is, what has been your happiest moment in your life?
Well, very difficult to answer one thing which I was happy.
But if you were to choose one.
Well, there have been many happy moments in my life, but I will say in my recent memory, it's clearly been the day my daughter was married, right? And when the wedding was over and she was विदाई समारोह हो रहा था, एक तरफ आंसू गिर रहे हैं और एक तरफ जो मैं खुशी का अनुभव कर रहा था ना, वो unexplainable in words यार. As a father, I mean that's one very touching moment and it's embedded in your memory. It remains forever, and that happiness I'm not able to express. I, in fact, as just a few days before the wedding, I one day was thinking, I just thought I should write, and I wrote a big paragraph.
Oh, did you?
And it is there in my Facebook.
Okay.
Just describing how happy I was feeling. It was a mixed feeling. It was one side I was feeling sad that she's going to leave us forever. The other side is that she's going to go establish in her life, settle in her life, and do whatever it takes to be successful in all aspects of her life. So that happiness clearly, in my recent memory, is the happiest moment of my life.
My next question is, what is that one quote that you live by?
So, Brig, I'm a very bad reader, so I don't read many books. But I've attended, I like to attend seminars, talk shows. So I attended this program called MILT many years back in my life. Oporesh Acharya, who's a professor of MILT, he was an ex-professor in Dale Carnegie Institute in America, and he had come down to India and started this MILT. And I had attended his one short program. There were, out of many quotes that he used during the class, one quote is embedded ever in my memory, is that 3 A's in your life will make you the ace of your life.
Will make you the ace of your life.
And the 3 A's are accept, adjust, and appreciate. Accept the other person as he or she is. Adjust with them. Don't expect them to change. You adjust with them. And appreciate. A person might have, out of 100 qualities, 99 are bad, not praiseworthy. But you will be able to find that good aspect in that human being, whatever it is. I mean, even if his smile is good, or even if let's say he's looking good, or he's good at heart, pick that up and appreciate. And I will tell you, that person is going to be your fan forever.
Amazing. What an answer. So my next question is, what has been your lowest point in your life?
Lowest point. The lowest point I would say is the regret that I wasn't being able to be with my dad during his last days. I was actually traveling on a holiday with my family. My whole family was with us, and he, uh, he just expired one day, and I got a call when I was holidaying, and even before I could reach, the last rites where the cremation and everything had happened, and I felt so bad about it. Even today, I sort of tears roll down my eyes when I think about that, because the last that I saw of my dad was I was hugging him when I was going for this holiday, and I came back. I never saw him again. I mean, when you're part of the cremation uh, ceremony, you're seeing that person being cremated, and at least your mind is clear that this man is gone. But I never saw that, and that's a regret ever for my life.
So sorry to hear that, but thank you so much for being open and sharing that. Uh, my next question and the final question is for this show. The final question is that what is your vision for the next 5 years, immediate 5 years? What do you want to build? So much you've built so far, but what is something that you want to do moving forward in the next 5 years?
Uh, I have already chalked out plans in each of my three areas that I think are important:
Which is?
the learn, the earn, and the return again. I'm going back to that three important aspects. The learn part is that I have done this. I want to, continue to be a student all my life, continue to learn. I'm learning from you even while we are talking. So I want to. I completed a program called OPM in the Harvard's Business School. It was a three years split into three units.
What is the full form?
It's a owners, presidents, and managers.
Okay.
It's a 3-unit program. Each unit is every year, and you get to stay at the campus for about 21 days, and it's like a compressed form of an MBA. And I'll tell you, it has a great impact in my life. I have used the learnings of that program into my business, into my social life, and I've seen great impact. And I want to continue. There are a lot of other things that I've thought of. I'm going to continue to learn, continue to be a student, have that classroom so I always feel young. Earn. I have a few business verticals that I've thought in which we have already conceptualizing it. We want to take that to the next level, and bring all those aspects of professionalism, culture, and everything in my business. To a large extent, it has already happened, but I'm going to continue this journey. And return part, which is dearest to my heart. I'm today very fortunate, very blessed to be heading JITO as the president of Apex. My term is going to get over in September of 2022. And after that, while I'm going to continue to be, guiding the newer leaders, I also have various other plans of how to return back. So I think I will really get busy in that also. So these are the things that I would do.
Well, wonderful, yeah. To see that once a person reaches that level and still aspiring to do so much more in every aspect, be a student and be again grow multiple verticals even at that stage, and return at the same time. You never stop, don't you?
One should never stop. I mean, the day they're departing from this world is pretty much stopped. But why would you stop? As long as you're able to do what you desire to do, what you aspire to do, you should continue to do it.
What an amazing conversation, Mr. Suresh Mutha. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for being so
my
kind.
Pleasure, and it was wonderful conversation.
What a wonderful conversation. So many takeaways, so many tangible steps that people can have in their life and understand that no matter where you are, there is still scope of growth. There is still scope of things that you can do in your life, in your business, in your social life, professional life, and reach the heights that you are meant to reach in your life. So thank you so much for being a part of this show. And I'm looking forward to have more such conversations with you and many such leaders where we can create something amazing for the community and share back. This is a way of giving from my side that I would love to have and continue. And That's it. Thank you so much for watching this show, and definitely share this video, like, share, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Show some love and ensure that this value is being shared with as many people as possible. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.